George Orwell's essay, Politics and the English Language, 1946, offers a critical examination of the conventions of written English during the modernist and post-World War II era. Its central focus is the connection between political correctness and the intellectual and linguistic impoverishment of the language. Orwell takes aim at those who manipulate language to obscure truth rather than communicate it, asserting that language, while inherently political, should never be wielded as a weapon to deceive vulnerable readers. He further contends that such manipulative language not only hides truth from others, but also from the very individuals who conceive and employ it. This essay is notable for its departure from Orwell's typical subject matter, presenting a more literal and didactic approach. Unlike his usual use of extended metaphors related to economic and class issues, this essay takes a more straightforward and direct tone. It can be found in the essay collection Why I Write, and readers interested in a deeper analysis of politics and the English language can refer to the Super Summary Study Guide for Why I Write. Orwell draws a direct connection between poor writing and oppressive thought, characterizing nearly all contemporary political discourse and prose as instruments used to defend, downplay, or obscure societal atrocities and glaring inequalities. He provides examples such as the ongoing British colonization of India, both politically and ideologically, as well as Russian deportations of Jews and dissidents, and the United States' decision to devastate Hiroshima with an atomic bomb. While these actions can be defended, the arguments they necessitate often employ language too harsh for public consumption, contradicting the professed goals of the political parties advocating for them. Consequently, contemporary political language leans heavily on minimizing language, euphemisms, and deliberate vagueness. For instance, the forceful occupation of an adversary's town might be described as pacification, while the expulsion of citizens from their native lands through mass deportations could be labeled as a population transfer. Orwell attributes this linguistic phenomenon to the fact that vague language serves to shield the audience from immediately confronting the often violent realities to which it refers. Orwell goes on to propose that insincerity is detrimental to both clear thinking and clear language. When there exists a gap between a writer or speaker's actual intentions and their stated goals, they tend to resort to overly complex or grandiose language and rely on cliched expressions. He likens this behavior to a cuttlefish squirting ink to evade its adversary. When writers, who are supposed to champion and uphold their audience's understanding of language's capabilities and purposes, obscure their points with obscure language, they perpetuate the ideologies of doublethink and euphemism. This sets off a destructive cycle where language continually deteriorates as users increasingly turn to simpler and simpler words and phrases. He draws a parallel to the pattern of an alcoholic, who often begins excessive drinking due to a sense of failure, but in doing so, ensures their own failure, thus fulfilling their self-destructive attribution. Orwell identifies two additional devices employed by insincere writers. One is the use of pretentious diction, characterized by the deployment of overly intricate or academic terminology to present biased viewpoints as if they were scientific and impartial. The other is meaningless diction, where filler words are substituted for actual arguments, serving to fatigue the reader's attention before reaching the core of the argument. He notes that these habits primarily spread through imitation, creating a kind of linguistic contagion that proliferates across various media. He contends that writers have a responsibility to assist their readers in thinking more clearly by first engaging in clear thinking themselves and producing writing that faithfully represents the content of their thoughts. Orwell concludes his essay by presenting a concise set of 6 rules, which serve as a straightforward and comprehensive guide for creating compelling and transparent writing. He offers this list as an antidote to the persistent temptation of resorting to meaningless diction, a threat that perpetually looms and has the potential to stifle a writer's intellectual capacity. The first rule advises against employing similes, metaphors, or any other figures of speech that have become overly familiar through frequent use in other texts. Orwell labels such expressions as dying metaphors, asserting that they are often employed when a writer lacks a clear understanding of their own intended meaning. Moreover, due to their overuse and inherent vagueness, these expressions are highly susceptible to manipulations in meaning. The second rule advocates for the use of shorter words when they adequately convey the intended meaning, rather than opting for longer ones unnecessarily. The third rule emphasizes the importance of eliminating redundant words that do not contribute to the advancement of the argument or imagery being conveyed. The fourth rule encourages writers to avoid passive voice, which can often obscure the clarity of a sentence. The fifth rule advises against the utilization of foreign, scientific, or overly complex words when a simpler, more commonly understood term in the given language suffices. The sixth and final rule, proposed by Orwell, is a call to be willing to break these established rules if it prevents one from expressing something in a manner that would be considered barbarous. Orwell closes his essay on a somewhat optimistic note, asserting that the deterioration of the English language is not irreversible and can be remedied by adhering to guidelines such as the ones he has delineated. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.